This used to be based on an old game. The first game I got based on this game design was almost 40 years ago. It's called Rose to Gettysburg, and then the company went bankrupt or something. It was sold and resold and so on. And then MMP picked up the rights to the game series, and then they repackaged that. There are 10 games in the series, and they repackaged it into like 5 big games, like 4 old games into one new game. And this is the campaign series, so it's not individual battle games. Usually I play individual battles like Antietam, Gettysburg, Normandy, and so on. So this is a whole campaign. Like this is Virginia and Richmond. Where's Richmond? Right here. And so this is more on a operational level than tactical level, not down to platoons or companies, even regiments, but like divisions, corps, army groups, brigades. Where's Richmond again? Yeah, this is Richmond. If I can zoom in a little bit more. Less than a month ago, we were at Cold Harbor. So that's why I told you I got food poisoning the first night, but the next day in the afternoon I felt better. So we drove to Cold Harbor, and then we went all the way up north to Gettysburg. So yeah, that's what we did. So again, this is the campaign series, not do detail, but overall strategic level. So you can see that's why it's such a big map. And the double crosses mean they are divisions. So there's some brigades, but mostly divisions. And as I said, this is based on the old game design. So the game flow is not too fluid. So, you know, the mechanics are 40 years old. So even though they republished the games, so 90% of the game rules are still based on 40 years ago. So yeah, so and if you look at the charts, too bad it's too small, and okay, even before that, so like most of the games we play nowadays, like you can move 6 movement points and so on. But this game series, even to know how far you can move each turn, you have to throw a dice. So the die roll is say 6, for instance, then you can only move like 3 hexes and so on. The cavalry is double up. You will roll 2 dices. So it's based on an old system. And usually board games is, Union will move, and then the Confederates, it would be their turn, then you go into the next turn and so on. But in this game series, you have to roll dice, and then whoever had a higher roll will be, there's only one side will move. So the Union, say turn 1, roll 6, so they will move, and that's it. That's the end of the turn, and then the next turn will come up again, and then they will roll again, and the Union have a high roll again, then they will move. Only they can move, the Confederates cannot. So the system is a bit awkward, but, again, this is the way they designed it. And going back to the charts now, so I want to show you the say for example the combat chart. it is still based on the old system. So they have a chart for the attacker and a separate chart for the defenders. And usually when you roll, when for example, let's say this guy attacks this guy. So 19 and 12, the attack values. So you roll a die and then you calculate the odds and so on. But in this game, they will both roll a die and then say 6 and 3. They will subtract each other, and then the result, the defender will consult the blue side, and then the attacker will consult the red side. So really, really like quite awkward gameplay. And so like let's say this one is attacking this one, no, this one's attacking this one. So 12, he will consult the column 12, and then look at the die roll after it's been modified, and then see the results, and then you will go from there. And then even the modifier is very awkward. In the newer games, it's all built in, but here you have to separately calculate the ratio. That means you have to divide 12. I mean, 19 by 12. Maybe it's 2.1, 1 to 1, 1, and then consult another chart to see what the modifier is. The technical value, there's another modifier that means the middle number 2 to 2, and again it will adjust the die roll and so on and so forth. So really, it's as I said, it is over design. And okay, I was just talking about the so this is attack ratio that I'm not good at math. So 19 divided by 12, whatever the ratio is, maybe it's like 2 to 1 or something. Maybe I don't know, maybe 2 to 1. So they will adjust it. The attacker can add 1 to the die roll. So there's a little bit minute adjustments, modifiers, but it's a lot of work, right? So the game flow is not so fluid. But in the old days, 40 years ago, this is the way they designed the game. And the artillery nowadays is a separate attack. But this game system, the third number here on the right hand side, 1 and 4, this is the artillery values. So you have to subtract attacking to defender, let's say, so it's a -3. So you have to consult the artillery table, so it will be a -3, so it will be this, and then depending on the terrain, so this is wood, is it forest, so wood, so there'll be no effect, so fine. So again, so there's not a lot of potential adjustments to the die roll, and then yeah, that's how you play the game. So yeah, I forgot, it's so tedious, that's why I don't play actually campaign level games too much, more individualized battles. And the and then the result of the die roll. So nowadays very easy, you will lose 1 string point or retreat 2 hexes, become disorganized, fatigue level 1, and so on. But in this case, this game, there are so many different result possibility. Big D, little d, and big F, little f, R, and capitalize, and God knows. So yeah, so again, this is old design. And for some people really into this kind of stuff, too bad it's not computerized. So, but yeah, so yeah, and there's also fatigue levels. Every time they move or attack, the fatigue will increase. And by the time you go to orange, that's the highest you can still do conduct actions. So by the time you have fatigue 5, which is red, that means basically you can do nothing. And they could also become disorganized. I don't see it here. Demoralized is something else. Can I just flip this over? Okay, yeah, maybe demoralized is disorganized. Okay, so and gets even more complicated. So that means that the manpower is the same, but the attack strength will be decreased. Can flip it back. What the heck? Can I even cancel this? What the heck? Delete? Oops. Okay. How do you recover? Increase? Decrease? But I think computer exhausted. And manpower. Oh, okay, maybe here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it can become, this is a call command. Oh, okay, slow come, okay. So, manpower. Yeah, and then it will, okay. Oh, yeah, D means demoralize. And then the manpower can also, yeah, decrease. Yeah, so, okay. Manpower. How do we cover? Come on. This one. 17. Manpower. Okay. 19. So now if it becomes disorganized, yeah, the strength will decrease, but this is manpower, this is a combat value. Well, yeah, so there could be four possibilities. Manpower, they can lose manpower strength. They can also lose combat strength, and they can also become fatigue. And then they can also become demoralized and so on. Yeah, so again, this is based on the old game system. So, yes, I said either you like it or not. I've been playing this game for a long, long, long time. Maybe because it's just so tedious. Yeah, the map is really beautiful, you know. The, when I play test and design games, not with this company, with another company, the artists who did updated this map, we used to work together for a while, couple of years. Yeah, yeah, really, really old design. Even the retreats, they have different priorities. Yes, very tedious, as I said, very tedious gameplay. And even attacking, you can have a normal attack or a hasty attack and a well-prepared attack and so on. So it doesn't, yeah, see, old game design, basic advance. Yeah, movement, fatigue. Levels, reinforcements, naval, okay. Rivers, no idea. Union command points, fine. Passive, just like income taxes, passive losses, valley, union reorganization. Oh my gosh, too old for this. Yeah, so again, if you into this kind of stuff, fine. Then you can do the, whole works, try to capture Richmond, the Confederate capital. Yeah, by being the Cold Harbor already. So on this map, how far north goes? Not too far up. Yeah. Good thing it's not, the contour density is not too much. Oh, West Point. And we would always make a side trip to West Point. We were in Virginia, but I was sick and we had to get to Gettysburg. Yeah, so as you see, the contour density is not too much. Some of the technical levels, there are even more units. It's a big mess, but here it's not actually not too bad. The Confederate units are much larger, as I said, but some Union are also large, like 19, 10, and so on. Your cavalry uses just, yeah, one, two. Usually they scout. Yeah, even the Union also. Oh, gee, zero zeros. Eh. Yeah, so as I said, if you're into this kind of game, it's fine. So maybe someday I will try to play a little bit, but very tedious. Long Street. Oh, Pickett. Oh, Marvin Hill. I have a game on this also. Marvin Hill, actually, Marvin Hill. Gaines Mill should be here too, right? Also, big battle here. What's Richmond again? Richmond. Now I really mess this up. Richmond. Coal Harbor's here. Oh, Gaines Mill should be here too. It's near Coal Harbor. Yeah, see, Gaines Mill's here. There's another big battle here. So, all right. Yeah, that's it. Interesting.